All right, let's get started sheeting the walls. So I took the wall apart and I'm moving it section by section back on the table. Just I don't like working on the floor. So, the reason I built big tables is so I could work at my waist. So I'm just using reverse board and batten siding, and I'm using a stapler to staple the pieces in place. At first I go along the bottom, verify the distance from the edge, and run the side, and now your sheet's square. So then I'm going to use my level. Whoops. I hit my LED lighting, so I had to put my LED lighting back up. You got to be careful when those little clips don't hold the lighting on well. And here I'm just using a skill saw to cut the 2-foot rip off the top of it. And then I'll go along from the point that I started nailing at and finish it off. So take a hammer, knock down any of them that doesn't seat all the way, and then just finish nailing up the studs. So I did this for all the sections. It worked really well. It's on the table, it's just plywood, sheet and plywood. But what I did do is I changed my mind. I showed how to do the circular saw, but in the back of the shop I have a pretty large panel saw, and I decided to take the sheets back there and finish doing the cross cutting back there, just so it'd make less mess up in the front shop. So I have a table saw, panel saw, everything you need back in the back for woodworking. So I just ripped it and cross cut it to the size that I needed, and continue finishing out this wall section. When I put this small piece on here, there was a small gap, so I wanted to really pull it in tight. So I used a couple pipe clamps put together to just put a little pressure there so I can nail it. And that just ensured that joint was very tight. So it's a very quick way to do something like that. So we finished nailing off the sections, and while it was up here, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it also, or stain it, I should say. It might as well be paint. It's a Valspar's solid deck stain, and my wife chose the colors, and she wanted gray with a kind of a white gray trim. So that's what we're going with. Excuse me. I used a roller to apply most of it, but it didn't get into the grooves as well as I'd like. So I took a paintbrush and just went with the paintbrush behind it and made sure those grooves got fully coated. And then surprisingly, for all the sections, it took just about that whole gallon. So, and here I am. It's just a tip or a trick that I've used for years to keep the paint from building up inside that groove where the cap sits on. Is just knock a couple holes in it with a screwdriver, and then it drains back in while you're doing this. And if I knowed I'd use the whole gallon, I probably wouldn't even waste my time doing that. But it did, it does kind of save on making a mess. And here I am, like I said, using a paintbrush to get those grooves. And that was the most tedious part of the whole project. I hate painting. So, and then these grooves, it just sucked in the paint or the stain. So it was not, I don't like painting, and I'll admit it. I don't mind rolling it on, but something about the paintbrush, it just doesn't sit well with me. So I have a pretty good sized spray room in the back of the shop that I use too, and I don't mind spraying. It's just the paintbrush. It seems like you sit there forever and you never get it done. But if you have a large TV like I do, you can catch up on your YouTube videos. So this Jason from Fireball Tools showing off his, or he's actually testing a bunch of vices, to destruction. So this is one that he made, and it's awesome. So I don't know if he offers this plans or not, but I'm probably going to look into building one like that, because it was pretty. Just watch the video, Fireball Tools, and watch what he does to these other vices. You'll be amazed how good his stood up. So anyway, back to painting. It's a never-ending deal, back and forth, back and forth. So move to the other side and get the other 3 feet done, up and down each groove again. Like I said, this was the most tedious part. It just has to be done. You have to get it done. But after this, I get all the walls built, or get all the wall skin painted, and then stand them back up, and then I'll fabricate, or I don't know if I need to fabricate, but I'll get the trim boards made, and then we'll get out to the well house, actually outside, and set it up. Hopefully that slab is on grade or pretty level. More than likely it's not, so we might have to do some shimming. That's why I built that bottom plate is treated. So either I'll cut a taper wedge to go under it if it needs to be, or we'll put right underneath every stud, we'll put a wedge block. So I'll show that. It's probably not that hard to do. You just wedge it up and then secure it to the concrete. Not a big deal. But I brought my wife out to the shop to let her look at it, and she's very happy with it. So we're moving on. It'll hopefully be in the backyard in the next weekend. So I think we'll cut it short for this video. It's just going to be more monotonous painting, which nobody wants to see. So until next time, see ya.